now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Don, able to take on Twitter. Talk to some Auburn Athletics news as a pretty successful weekend for Auburn Athletics. Pretty much, I don't want to say undefeated, but 2 losses is all Auburn suffered through 3 losses through like 12 games that Auburn played this weekend. Absolutely insane basketball game where Auburn got the dub over Kentucky, 75-74. Auburn softball finishes 4-2 in the Marion Hunter Classic. Auburn baseball finishes out 3-0 in their college baseball series they had versus Kansas State, a ranked Florida State, and a ranked Louisville as well. And Auburn gymnastics looking pretty competent, but did sadly take the loss to Alabama this weekend. But, you know, Auburn football news keeps piling up. Auburn recruiting still on the hot trail. But what I do want to talk about today is how Auburn's kind of forming their identity going into this offseason. You know, spring ball is getting started up next month. Auburn workouts already getting started up, and Auburn has already been putting up some hype videos getting ready for this upcoming football season, which, again, he's the cover boy of for the season, but he's also in the thumbnail of this video. Byrum Brown, I think, has been the biggest talking point of the offseason thus far, but just his overall energy that has been, you know, shown to the public has been, you know, so positive and unwavering. And I've just seen so many Auburn fans, you know, it's that point of the year where you're stuck in the loop between, do I want to be super stoked about the season, or do I want to be cautiously scared of what to expect this year? But just from how Auburn has been projecting themselves on social media, you can really tell that there's a whole new level of energy in this football program. I mean, just watching Byrum Brown, who is built like a truck, sitting there getting in people's faces while they're trying to push a sled, telling them to keep going and push harder and all that. And, you know, it brings a bit of a smile to your face because, you know, you're seeing something Auburn's not seen in quite some time, and that's a vocal leader coming from the quarterback room. Really, I don't think it's really been since Bo Nix, but I think you can even go further back to like a Jarrett Stidham, you know, having a true leader at quarterback that the team was able to get behind and stay behind for a good chunk. And of course, I don't want to speak too much on how the season's going to go in late February, but their energy is there. And just watching how the coaches are talking about it and how Golesh kind of talked about this season, you know, I'm expecting Auburn to, you know, they're starting to work their way up to getting to where they're going to go above and beyond expectations. I won't say too far beyond, but Byrum Brown has just been such an electric part of this offseason thus far. And it's hearing the coaches talk about him. They're saying he's just a leader. He's down there with them. He's doing all of that stuff. He's like an assistant coach playing quarterback. And really, it looks like the identity for Auburn football is going to be built around Byrum Brown. It's him passing the ball. It's him running the ball. It's him doing everything he can to get Auburn back to their winning ways with the short time that he's going to be on the Plains. And really, again, we've heard Golesh talk about the identity he wants to establish. You know, it's going to be hard-nosed, run the crap out of the football, Auburn football. And, you know, you picked up some running backs. You picked up 3 starting caliber running backs to join alongside Jeremiah Cobb. And you're starting to see him emerge a little bit more as a leader in this room. So you're really seeing the brotherhood really kind of pick up out of this roster. I've been talking about it thus far. And again, a short time span that we've seen them together, it seems as this is going to be the most like a team an Auburn football team has been in, I want to say since the Gus era. Or I don't want to say late Gus, but like 2019 Gus era. The team seems to be, you know, on the same page. And just watching them, how they've been like working out together, speaks volumes. You know, they're always, you know, right there, each other's faces, pushing each other to get better. And it seems that there's an understanding of what they want Auburn to be. They don't want to see Auburn, you know, miss a bowl game. They don't want to see Auburn, you know, fall off the deep end. They don't want to see Auburn fight hard and become so close to winning a game that they fall short every time. So again, I've been so stoked about watching all these hype videos Auburn keeps posting. And again, Byrum Brown has just been next level. And again, he is the success of Auburn's football season depends solely on how Byrum Brown composes himself and develops himself. He could have won the draft this year. He could have, and he would have been. I don't know what round he would have gone, but he would have got picked. This is that. I don't want to say that not because it's a low quarterback class, which I would believe it is, but he has proven himself as a very talented quarterback, and he wants to prove himself at a higher stage. And that's what he is planning to do. And you can see his heart and soul in every single clip that you see that he is in, that the Auburn social media team is recording him doing. And again, it's been a big talking point. I think there's been 2 or 3 videos they posted for this offseason thus far, and it's just been that impactful and spoke that like actions are louder than words, and that's what Byrum Brown is doing. So again, super stoked for this Auburn football season. And again, I think Auburn, the successes Auburn can have this season depends solely on how this team plays around Byrum Brown. I think he's going to play his brand of football that Alex Golesh and Joel Gordon and Houdanik and Cody Burns and all these Larry Scott, Larry Porter, all these coaches know how he can play. And if the team can play to his level, I mean, Auburn is going to be a team to, they're going to scare some folks. Even if it's a 7-5 Auburn team at the end of the regular season, you're going to know that for 4 quarters of each of those 12 games, you got the very best version of Auburn you could possibly get. And that's just what I've been seeing from these videos. And again, it's a short sample size. We've not seen this team throw any passes. We've not seen this team run the football. But just how the energy they're already practicing with speaks volumes to what you can come to expect from this team. And again, it's kind of just a culture that Golesh has, built up in such a short time. Because the last 2 coaches, there was a different, like sights were set differently. Hugh Freeze, it was always recruiting. It was always recruiting, trying to get the best guys on the roster he could possibly get. Harsin, it was really about getting his guys he thought could fit the program that he saw fit. And Golesh, it seems, is getting guys who understand what Auburn is meant to be and are eager and ready to get Auburn there. And it's just a different vibe. It's a whole different vibe that I'm getting from Alex Golesh. Again, I remember when Harsin got – I've said this several times. When the last coach I was super stoked for Auburn to hire was Gus Malzahn. Because, again, I was a kid in 2010 when Cam Newton won. I always gave credit to Gus Malzahn for his offense. Auburn fires Gene Chizik, hires Gus Malzahn. I'm, as a 13-year-old, flipping out. Hire of the century. And he's able to turn Auburn around because he knows what to expect from Auburn and knows what Auburn expects in return, and turns them around in a year. And, Gus had a really good career at Auburn. But when Harsin got hired, it was a lot of confusion. Didn't really know who the guy was, and his backstory on him. And I was like, okay, well, he wins, but I don't know if he could be able to do it at this level. Hugh Freeze got hired. Okay, familiar face, but he's been out of the game for a while. Alex Golesh gets hired, and I'm stoked. Super stoked about what I've been seeing. I'm super stoked about what I've been hearing. And Auburn's identity is going to be the identity Auburn has always, embraced. It's that hard-nosed, gonna get in your face kind of team. Auburn has always been an underdog in one way or the other, but when Auburn is playing like they know they're better than you and they know that they can play better than you, and they're just going all in on you, that's when you get those good Auburn teams. That's when you get the 2019 Auburn team or the 2017 Auburn team or that 2014, the 2013 team, 2010, go further even back. When Auburn is playing that they are better than you and they know it, they are winning football games. And it looks like iron sharpening iron in all these videos. And I was thinking identity be Auburn. If Auburn is going back to their history of running the crap out of the football, and they got 4 running backs plus a quarterback who's built like, I don't want to say, I almost said built like Derrick Henry, but dude is built like a truck and is going to run through you, around you, over you, whatever he can do. You're going to be able to run the football pretty well. But if this wide receiver room can also step up to it as well, these are all guys that he's thrown to before, with Keyshawn Singleton and just all these guys. If they can keep playing up to that level as well, and Jeremiah Coger as well, keep playing up to the level they were playing at USF and make that jump to the SEC level. I mean, it's going to be a balanced offense, and Auburn hasn't had one of those since 2017. It's the last time Auburn had a balanced offense. And again, Golesh had it right. Maybe he's just praying the offensive line works out, but you got some dudes who are already like leaders in that room. And again, it's going to be hard not to bug a little bit. Again, I'm trying to stay true to my roots here with predicting Auburn make a bowl game. But every single one of these videos, man, as a lifetime Auburn fan myself, it's hard to watch one of these videos of guys getting into their faces and not like fighting, but pushing each other harder and getting their like, hey, you got to go faster, you got to go harder at this drill. It's really hard not to boost it up a little bit, but you're really seeing the tenaciousness that they're going to be playing with this season. And again, Golesh was always going to be an A+ hire for me. I was super stoked when Golesh was hired as the head coach. He was my pick from the get-go. And you're seeing early stages of this was the right hire to make. So super stoked for that. So that's the football conversation. Let me know what comments below. What do you think? What are you expecting from Auburn's identity in 2026 and first year of Alex Golesh's era here on the Plains? Of course, they're going to be hard-nosed. They're going to run the crap out of the football. We've heard that already, but now we're getting the chance to see it on our screens. So if spring ball continues with this level of energy, I mean, 8A is going to be electric. It's going to be super fun. I expect it to be sold out. Fully expect 8A to be sold out. Because, again, it's going to be a normal game. It's going to be electric. It's going to be awesome. And, again, first chance to see Byrum Brown as well. So, super stoked for 8A not next month, but in April. So, yeah, going to be hyped up to see that. Of course, in the realm of football, again, we'll have the Combine coming up this week, I think on the 26th. So, that is, I believe, Thursday. So, we'll be doing a preview of that on Tuesday, getting ready to see what to expect from Auburn's 4 Combine guys they got going. I think Connor Lew, Kieran Crawford, Keldrick Falk, and good Lord, who's the 4th one? Another defensive guy, I'm pretty sure. No, Jeremiah Wright. It's Jeremiah Wright. Opportunity to see what they can perform like at the highest level. Again, Keldrick, I think, is going to be Auburn's first round pick since Derek Brown in 2019. Which even before that, I think it was Noah Igbinoghene a year prior, unless a year after, one of the two. I think he was a first-round pick, so I can't remember what year he was. But another opportunity for Auburn to get back in the first-round conversations. And I think Connor Lew is probably up next on that, but I think Kieran Crawford has a lot to show off in front of these NFL scouts whenever it's the defensive line's turn. I think he's going to be like an underrated pick. I see him in the same realm as I saw Colby Wooden. Like Derek Hall was like the guy for that, or Montrevious, whichever year that was. I think it was Derek Hall. Derek Hall was like the guy, but I was like, Colby Wooden's going to be an underrated pick here. And what year was it? That was not the same year. What was it? What year was he drafted? Colby Wooden it's going to bother me. 2023. I think it is the same year. Yeah, so does Derek Hall. So like Derek Hall was like the best pick for Auburn there, but I was like, Colby Wooden's going to be like a dude to watch out for, and he's now been an efficient pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers for a few years now. So I'm expecting Kieran Crawford to be that same guy. Keldrick's going to be the best pick, but Kieran Crawford is going to be your developmental, like this guy's going to be good in a few years pick. So super stoked for all those guys. See what they can show off to the scouts. Again, Connor Lew, I think, is still like recovering from his ACL tear. So I don't expect him to do too many of the stuff, but the interviews, he's definitely where he's going to kill it at. Again, when he is healthy, he is the best center in college football. So I expect that to transition over to the NFL as well. But we're going to quick little break. Other side of this break, we'll talk about some Auburn basketball getting a big time win over Kentucky yesterday. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, you get that merch on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop today and get your very own college loop merch today. Of course, the best way to support the channel is not by buying the merch. It's by liking the video, commenting on the video, what you expect Auburn's identity to be on the football field this season. And, of course, by subscribing to the YouTube channel, help us get to our next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Auburn basketball is where we're moving on to next, getting a big-time win over Kentucky, 75-74. Mark Pope is now 0-2 versus Auburn in his career, which is awesome. Big games all around and again, Elijah Freeman getting the game-winning bucket with 1 second left to go in the game. Kentucky had the lead for a while, but Auburn's able to fight back and get it in the second half. And again, it was a great win all around for the Auburn Tigers. You had some guys who could have done a little bit better, but again, shout out Elijah Freeman, 11 points. Philip Jovic had 5 points. Sebastian's added 5 points. Keyshawn Hall with 10, did not shoot the best, but did do a good job of passing the ball around, had 9 rebounds and 7 assists, 8 defensive rebounds from Keyshawn Hall. Kevin Overton, 10 points. Todd Pettiford had 9 with some good rebounds and a few assists. Turnovers, though, 5 turnovers from Todd Pettiford. But again, I think it was a pretty efficient game from him. But the guy who stole the show, Keyshawn Murphy, career high 25 points and 10 rebounds. A game after, he did not play the best versus Mississippi State, but came out and lit it up. Auburn had 40 points in the paint in this one, and were just insane the entire time. But Auburn did not lead in rebounds. I think the first game in a while they've not been the rebounding leader. But points off the bench, you led with that 16-8. A lot of that thanks to Elijah Freeman. Points to paint, won that one. Had more blocks, had more steals, and you're passing the ball around a lot in this one. You were tied 10 times in this one. There was 11 lead changes in this game. Neither team shot the best. Both shot 40% from the field, 26% for both sides from the three-point line. Free throws, Auburn did shoot more, and I believe there was some complaints from the Kentucky side about penalties and the refs and the umpiring of this one. But, I think Kentucky's had a few years of having the refs go their way. So if they were calling a little bit closer to Auburn's side, I'm not going to get play inside of me. But overall, this is a very successful win for Auburn. A much-needed win for a team who is trying to secure a spot in March Madness. And again, ends that ugly, ugly skid that they have been on the past few weeks. It is good to see Auburn on the right side of a barn burner again. A lot of years off the lives of Auburn fans around the country. Again, 5-game skid ended yesterday with Kentucky. Up next for Auburn, you got three winnable games up ahead, and then you have a tough one versus Alabama, which I don't even think that's a winnable one as well. But you have Oklahoma on Tuesday, Ole Miss on Saturday, then that first Tuesday in March with LSU, and then Saturday rounding out the regular season with Alabama. Again, all 4 are winnable games, and all you got to do is stay out of your own way. It's been the issue with Auburn all season long, is just being unable to get out of their own way. And it seems like they potentially found a way to do so, but you got to win another one for it to be a streak. Which Auburn women's basketball did break their streak as well. They were on a much longer skid. I think it was 7 games they were on a losing streak for. Finally beat it with a pretty good Missouri team, might I add. Auburn was able to get the 71-58 win over them. Caitlin Duhan with 19 points. Katie Lee with 13. You had Harris Koulibaly with 11. Maya Petticord had 9. and you had 16 points off the bench. So a very, very successful weekend for Auburn basketball. Up next for the women's team, you got a few games. You got three games left. 2 ranked, Georgia and Kentucky, and of course the tough at Arkansas as well. But I mean, they've shown a lot of grit. They're 15th in the SEC right now, but I think they've shown a lot of promise going forward. And again, they're 14-13, which is above and beyond what we could have expected from first year of a rebuild that desperately needed to happen for Auburn women's basketball. As we make the pivot over now to the Diamond, Auburn baseball and Auburn softball had successful weekends all around. Auburn softball started off on Thursday with a big win over number 18 Oregon, beating them 10-5, and then got slapped in the face by UCLA 23-1. Came back on Friday and beat down BYU 10-1. Lost to Washington on Saturday, got the win over Cal State Fullerton, and then rounded out today with an absolute beatdown versus Cal, where Auburn scored 6 home runs, tying a program record for most home runs in a singular game, and ended that one in 5. But Auburn now up to 20, I think it's 13-4, not 20, 13-4 thus far this season on a 2-game win streak. Again, they've been lighting it up. The softball is the size of a basketball to them. They are hitting the absolute crap out of the ball, and they got some pitching that is out of this world. Ella Harrison has been on an absolute ringer this season. Like, she is ridiculous. So Auburn pitching all around has been pretty darn good, might I add. But I'm trying to get the home run leader for the team right now. You got 3: Destiny Rodriguez, Michaela Walker, and Haven Roebuck tied for the team leads with 5 home runs this season. Emily Adams and Mania Womack with 4 each. You have 2 by Alyssa Hastings, Delaney Amua, and Kylie Stroud with 2, and then Kyler Brockman has 1 as well. And again, pitching, Ella Harrison been on fire thus far this season, 7-1 in her games. ERA, I'm trying to 2.08. It's just been insane. SJ Guerin has also been pretty good this year as well, but Ella Harrison has definitely stolen the show thus far this season. This team is going above and beyond expectations that people have had for them this season. Auburn baseball, though, went undefeated on their weekend in the M&G Bank College Baseball Series, getting big wins over Kansas State, Florida State, and another big win over Louisville. I don't think Kansas State's ranked, but I know Florida State and Louisville were ranked, and they pretty much had their way with them. You lost 8-0 to Cincinnati earlier this week, and it was questionable at the plate. Auburn was unable to get anything done. We're leaving guys stranded, and they completely found a way to hit the ball this week and lit it up all around the place. And again, their pitching has been on fire this season as well. I think there was 8 strike. I forgot which game it was, but there was 8 strikeouts in the game by one of Auburn's pitchers. I blanking on which game it was, but it was absolutely insane to see that happen. The Auburn baseball currently 1 loss in the year thus far, 6-1, top 10 in the nation. Probably going to be going up soon after how well they performed in Arlington, Texas this weekend. And then last little Auburn update. Of course, Auburn golf is balling out right now. Jackson Coivin is like the front runner for the best golfer award, and has a few more years where before he wins a PGA Tour. Auburn tennis, I think, is like number 1 in the country. But lastly, Auburn gymnastics. Not a bad loss, but taking another tough loss. SC opponent in Alabama lost by 0.7 in this one in the Iron Bowl in Neville Arena. Sadly, Auburn unable to get another win and take another tough loss in the SEC. I think they're on a big skid, but did show some promise going forward. And up next, you got a tough one in number 2 Oklahoma. But Julianne Huff did win the all-around, which was great. Love to see that. Just really want to see Auburn get one of these going forward. Really, they had a pretty decent all-around performance. 49.3 in vault, 49.2 in bars, 49 on the beam, and then another 49 on the floor. But Alabama is also very good. Gymnastics is pretty much the only sport where I'll give Alabama flowers for, because it's hard to judge harshly for gymnastics. It's like watching a figure skating where when the USA won the gold and Alyssa Liu just went insane. Which also shout out USA hockey, both teams, women's and men's, getting the gold versus Canada, showing out for for the States. That was super cool to watch this morning as well. So yeah, super, just a weekend full of wins all around. Auburn and America, like, sadly, Auburn, the America finished second in the Winter Olympics, but can't be too upset. They had their most gold medals ever in an Olympics period, but super stoked for that. Can't wait for the Summer Olympics in 2 years. Get to see Suni Lee yet again, and at this rate, Dylan Cardwell might also be in the USA American team if he keeps balling out like he is in the NBA. So super stoked for that. We're going to go and get on out of here. Nice little 27-minute show. Thank you everyone for tuning to Summit College Podcast. We'll be back on Tuesday, getting ready for the NFL Combine, talking about what each Auburn player needs to prove to raise their draft stock. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we're going to be back for Thursday as well, probably recapping that day. I don't know. I need to look at the Combine schedule, see exactly when we're going to see all of our guys go. But of course, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, right here on the College League Podcast. I'm Dylan Lark, able on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well at Dylan, DYLNLRCK. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe right here on the College League Podcast on YouTube, but also you guys on all social media platforms as well: Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All those at the College Loop, and of course, audio version of the show as well on Spotify, Podcast, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in to the College League Podcast yet again, and as always, War Eagle.